Have you ever wondered what sparked the deadliest conflict in human history, World War II? It was a maelstrom of violence that arose from a complex web of factors, each playing a crucial role in the ignition of a conflict that would engulf the globe. The seeds of this catastrophe were sown in the aftermath of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, set the stage for future conflict. It imposed harsh terms on the defeated Germany, including hefty reparations and territorial losses. These terms stirred resentment within Germany, creating a fertile ground for the rise of a totalitarian regime under Adolf Hitler. Simultaneously, the world grappled with economic instability. The Great Depression of the 1930s left many nations financially crippled, exacerbating social and political tensions. This economic turmoil provided an opportunity for the ascendance of totalitarian regimes, not just in Germany, but also in Italy under Benito Mussolini and in Japan under Emperor Hirohito. But how did this lead to the outbreak of World War II? The spark that ignited the powder keg was the German invasion of Poland on September 1, 1939. Hitler, emboldened by his aggressive territorial expansions throughout the 1930s, set his sights on Poland. Britain and France, having signed agreements to protect Poland, were left with no choice but to declare war on Germany. Germany's military strategy, known as Blitzkrieg, played a pivotal role in the early days of the war. Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War, involved swift and coordinated attacks using ground forces and air raids. The aim was to strike hard and fast, overwhelming the enemy before they could effectively respond. Poland fell to this brutal onslaught in less than a month, marking the beginning of World War II. With the invasion of Poland, the world was once again plunged into a brutal war. The stage was set for a conflict that would claim an estimated 70 to 85 million lives, forever altering the course of human history. As the war escalated, several key battles took place in the European theatre. The first major clash was the Battle of Britain in 1940. The German Luftwaffe, or Air Force, sought to secure air superiority over the British Isles, a critical step in Hitler's planned invasion of Britain. Yet the Royal Air Force, outnumbered but not outmatched, stood firm. The British pilots, known as the Few, bravely confronted the German onslaught, their Spitfires and Hurricanes darting through the skies in a desperate struggle for survival. Their resilience led to a decisive victory, preventing a full-scale German invasion. This marked the first major check to German expansion and a beacon of hope for the beleaguered Allies. The following year, in 1941, Hitler turned his gaze eastward with Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. It was the largest military operation in history, involving over 3 million German soldiers. In breaking the non-aggression pact between the two nations, Hitler hoped to secure the vast resources of the Soviet Union and crush communism. The Germans initially achieved significant successes, pushing deep into Soviet territory. Yet, they underestimated the sheer tenacity of the Soviet resistance and the brutal Russian winters. The Red Army, while initially reeling from the surprise attack, regrouped and began to push back against the invaders. The Russian winter, often termed General Winter, proved a formidable ally, stalling the German advance and sapping their strength. These two pivotal events in the European theatre underscore the resilience and resolve of the Allied forces. In Britain, a small group of pilots held back the might of the Luftwaffe, while in the East, the Soviet Union withstood the largest invasion in history and began to turn the tide. Despite their early successes, the tide of war was beginning to turn against the Axis powers. While Europe was embroiled in conflict, a new theatre of war opened in the Pacific. This was a stage set by Japan, a nation with imperial ambitions that saw the Pacific as its rightful territory. In 1941, the world was shocked as Japan launched a surprise attack on the United States naval base at Pearl Harbor. This audacious move thrust the United States into the war and forever altered the course of history. Japan's strategic assault caught the United States off guard, and the devastation compelled America to join the Allied forces. The Pacific Theater was marked by ferocious battles, with the Allies led by the United States adopting a strategy known as island hopping. This involved capturing key islands one by one, allowing the Allies to inch closer to Japan's mainland. Each island captured served as a stepping stone, a base for launching further attacks. But let's not forget that World War II was not only a series of military campaigns, it was also a stage for one of the darkest chapters in human history, the Holocaust. While battles raged across the globe, the Nazis in Europe were implementing a systematic genocide that would claim the lives of 6 million Jews. This was a horror beyond comprehension, a calculated act of extermination that targeted not only Jews but also Romani people, Poles, Soviets, disabled individuals, and many others. The Holocaust was a stark reminder of the depths to which humanity can sink in times of war. It was a deliberate and systematic attempt to erase entire communities, cultures, and histories. It was a crime against humanity of unparalleled scale and brutality. So as we delve into the history of World War II, we must remember that it was more than a clash of nations. It was a test of our collective conscience, a challenge to our shared values. The war was not just a battle between armies, it was a battle for the very soul of humanity. The war saw some of the largest and most significant battles in history. Let's dive into the Battle of Stalingrad, which marked a major turning point in the war. It was here, between the winters of 1942 and 1943, where the Soviet forces halted the German advance. The battle was marked by its fierce close-quarters combat and direct assaults on civilians by air raids. The harsh winter and the relentless Soviet resistance ultimately led to a catastrophic defeat for the Germans, turning the tide of war on the Eastern Front. Moving to the Western Front, the D-Day invasion stands as one of the most ambitious military operations in history. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces led by the United States, Britain, and Canada stormed the beaches of Normandy. It was a pivotal moment that marked the beginning of the end for Germany's control over Western Europe. Despite heavy casualties, the Allies were successful, and this massive amphibious invasion led to the liberation of France and paved the way for an Allied invasion into Germany. Fast forward to 1945, the Battle of Berlin marked the final major offensive of the European theater. Soviet forces launched a massive assault on the city, leading to Adolf Hitler's suicide on April 30th. The fall of Berlin signaled the end of Nazi Germany, with the unconditional surrender signed shortly after. Yet, the war was not over. The Pacific Theater remained active, and it was here where the war truly ended with a bang. In August 1945, the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The devastation was unprecedented and the death toll enormous. Faced with such destructive power, Japan surrendered on August 15th, bringing World War II to a close. The war ended with a bang, not a whimper, leaving a world forever changed. The end of the war was just the beginning of a new world order. As the smoke cleared and the rubble settled, the aftermath of World War II brought a profound shift in the global landscape. Germany, once a harbinger of terror, was divided into East and West, a poignant symbol of a world bifurcated by ideology. This division sowed the seeds of the Cold War, a tense and shadowy conflict that pitted the United States and the Soviet Union against each other in a race to global supremacy. It was a chess game of political maneuvering and proxy wars, a stark departure from the open battlefields of the World War II. In the wake of such immense destruction, there was also an earnest attempt to foster peace and cooperation. The United Nations was established, an international body aimed at promoting dialogue and preventing the outbreak of future conflicts. World War II reshaped our world. Its effects still felt today. It serves as a powerful reminder of the devastating consequences of conflict and the importance of striving for peace.